Canning season is here, and I'm about to show you the easiest, crazy easy pressure canning recipe that is going to be excellent for beginners or just something that you're going to want to keep doing forever and eternity. Hey everyone, welcome back to Grains and Grit. My name is Felicia, and on this channel we talk all things real whole grains from a biblical perspective and more. So this video is actually a canning video, and for those who don't know, I've been milling my grains for about 12 years now, and on top of that we've been homesteaders for about 10 years. And so a lot of canning has been happening around here, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I get to the point where my husband eventually says, stop canning, we've run out of room. So if you love canning and bread baking and grains and all the things like that, homesteaders, prepping, all of those things, then be sure to subscribe to this channel for more and to like this video. Now I am really excited because I get to introduce to you this beauty right here. All American canners, I love. If you don't have one, you need one. They can double up for, they are pressure canners, but they can also double up for water bath canners. But they've been around for forever. They are the Cadillac standard of canners, but they have recently come out with these gorgeous colors. And I'm so excited to introduce to you Miss Bonnie Blue. Yes, I named her. I also have another one that's a different model. That is their standard steel aluminum. I just call her Old Reliable because she's just reliable. She's just good. So a few things that I love about this canner, and then I'm going to be showing you the recipe. First of all, I already have an All-American canner and I love it. And then I received this one, and I truly was in awe of the beautiful color and finish. Like, the pictures on the website do not do justice. This is absolutely beautiful, and I can tell in person this is quality, right up with the brand, with All American brand. The paint is just quality. I do not get the impression this is a cheap paint job or anything like that, and it's just beautifully finished. So you're not going to go wrong. If you're wanting the colors, they only come in the model 921, which is the most popular model. This is going to hold 7 quart jars and 19 pint jars, which is perfect in my opinion. And it's also not too crazy heavy where you cannot lift it. But if you're looking for smaller or for bigger, they do have those models in All American, but it's just their regular steel aluminum look. So this one does come in the color of barley, berry blue, which is this one. You have kelp, mustard, saffron, which is this gorgeous orange type, muted orange type color, storm, and then their typical satin aluminum. So basically I kind of got like a 60s, 70s vintage vibe with their colors, which I totally love. But this one's berry blue, and she's gorgeous. Another thing I love about All American canners is the fact that they are durable. I mean, they're going to stand the test of time. And I love most that there's no gaskets with All American canners. So gaskets, if you don't know, with other canners, have to be replaced every 1 or 2 years. Well, I don't have to worry about that with an All American canner. So with this one, we have the pressure gauge, and then it also comes on the inside with the weighted. Now, I've already used this before, so this is not what these racks look like. They actually look like this. The reason that one darkened is I was using it in a water bath canner, and I think because of that it darkened it. But usually they stay like this, so don't be freaked out. But with this, you put this down first if you're just doing one layer, and then if you are double stacking, you can put them on top like this, which we will be doing today. And then here just comes the manual and then your pressure gauge. Now, do know with all canners, if you are new, please, no matter what canner you have, you need to read your manual to know how to use it. Get really familiar with your canner. They're going to be your best friend. You're going to want to get familiar with them. And this is what she looks like on the inside. So not painted on the inside, obviously. She's also not painted on the bottom. But this is a very durable coating. I also love how under these handles here, they actually have more of a grip underneath. They've made it more textured with the metal, where my other one, which is this regular steel aluminum, does not have that. So I kind of like that. It's the same texture. I don't know if you can see it on video. It's the same texture that's here. So it gives you a bit more of a grip. But the handle is great too because of the weight of this. I like being able to grasp a really good handle where I don't feel like I'm about to drop it or it's flimsy or anything like that. All right, so that's what I love about this canner. And by the way, if you're looking for any all-American canners, I got mine from Pleasant Hill Grain. They are sponsoring this video. I love them. So be sure you can just check out grainsandgrit.com/PHG for all the models of the all-American canners, including all the colors that they have. And for you preppers out there, I recently found out something that is really cool. So if you are like mega prepper, or you have some other friends that want to grow the stockpile as well. One thing I recently found out is that if you order an entire pallet of grains from Pleasant Hill Grain, so that includes 36 buckets. If you order an entire pallet, there's a discount of $25 a bucket, which is amazing. So they do have to be shipped to a business. If you order 3 or more pallets, the discount goes up to $30 a bucket. And the great thing is you can mix and match your grains, your legumes. So if you want to get together and do your own co-op and do that, that's great. Because the other thing is they also come ready to go. They're already in sealed buckets. Many of the grains come in Mylar bags. All of them pretty much come with oxygen absorbers. And there you go. So that's something new that I just found out. So just wanted to pass that on. So let's get on to the crazy, stupid, easy recipe. And this is canned dried beans. And I know what you're thinking. Why would I want to can dried beans when I can just buy them from the store? And I get it. They are pretty cheap from the store. But there are a few reasons why I like to can my dried beans. Now, ultimately, I am going for convenience. It is more convenient to pull a can of beans than to have to cook them and everything like that, which is a few hour process. But a few things to consider is the canned beans from the store are usually very high in salt. We're talking 400 and 500 milligrams of salt in each can. So for those of you who may need to watch your salt intake, that's a big thing to consider. They also may have preservatives in there like calcium chloride. If you prefer organic beans, the organic dried beans in bulk possibly will be cheaper than buying the organic canned beans in the store. A huge advantage is you can adjust your own seasonings, do your own mixes of beans, all of those things. And the biggest thing and the reason why I do it is I'm able to just go into my own stockpile of dried beans and use that instead of buying more specifically canned beans. So there's a time where like now where I need to maybe get rid of a bucket or so, clear some room in my dried goods storage. And this allows me to do that, to make room for other things or just to get rid of some things. So those are kind of my reasonings for that. Now to get into it, and you're going to be amazed at how stupid easy this is. So the basic ingredients that you need is you need some jars. I do prefer pint-sized jars. This can be done in quarts, no problem. And then you need whatever beans you want to do. Today, I'm going to be keeping it simple. I'm going to do some black beans, and I'm also going to do some pinto beans, and I'm not going to add any seasoning to it whatsoever. That way I can just use them however I want. That's kind of the preferred way I like to do it right now, unless I have something specific in mind. Because when I can my beans, I'm mainly just going for, I need it when I need the convenience of canned beans, and then I can do with it whatever I want. But again, feel free to add your own seasonings, do whatever beans that you want to do. But bottom line, all you need is we're going to be doing some pints. So I'm going to be able to do 19 pint jars here. We're going to do those. You're just going to want to wash, just do a general washing of your jars, make sure they're clean, washing of the lids, and then we're going to get here to show you how to do it. One thing that I like to do no matter what I'm canning is I actually just take my lids and my rims and I put them in a pot here of water, and then I just get them to where they're kind of simmering on the stove. I bring them up to a boil and let them simmer until I'm ready to use them. That way, they're just getting sterilized. They're just ready for me whenever I need them. Kind of saves me a step in making sure that they're ready. This used to be where you had to do this to kind of activate the lids, but not really needed these days. Now, again, you can use wide mouth or regular mouth. It is personal preference. I have a combination here of wide mouth and regular mouth. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my canner going because this part is going to be quite fast. And so again, I have the All-American canner, and I'm going to be placing one of these down on the bottom. You never put your jars right on the bottom of the canner. Putting this down on the bottom, and then I like to put in about 2 to 3 inches of water down there. Whatever your instructions say, that's how much you put in. And then I like to put in just a little bit of white vinegar, and all that does is kind of keeps the inside of your canner looking prettier, but not a necessary step. Now for the crazy easy part. All you need is funnel, preferred because it helps with the jars. Definitely recommend a canning funnel. Half a cup. So for pints, you're just going to put a half a cup of dried beans in. And then if you put any seasonings, you put in your seasonings, and then you fill it up with water with about a 1/2 inch headspace, which means it's going to be up to basically where this rim is, because I do like to leave a little bit more headspace. So let's get to it. Now, while I'm doing this, if you prefer to use soaked beans, I learned this from my friend Rouse Rising, Katie at Rouse Rising, where all that she does is she just goes ahead and puts her beans in the jar, fills it up with water. She likes to put in a little bit of raw apple cider vinegar, just a little bit in each jar, and then you let it soak overnight. And then the next morning, you dump it out, rinse it, put the beans back in, fill it up with water, proceed as normal for canning beans. So if you prefer that, you can do that as well. It's just an extra step. So just know this is 9 pint jars, and it was from 1 2-pound bag of the black beans. So 1 2-pound bag pretty much gets you 9 pint jars. And now let me grab my pinto beans, which I have mine in a big bucket. And now we're just ready to add our hot water. This is hot water on the hottest setting from my sink. Now, if you have water that has chlorine in it, you don't want to use that. So just get some non-chlorinated water. We've got well water here, so you city people with chlorine possibly in your water, just get you some regular water and then bring it up to where it's hot, because you do want your jars to be fairly warm or hot before placing them in the canner. And again, you always want to leave a headspace. That just means you're not filling it up all the way to the rim. I'm leaving about a 1 inch headspace, which again is to the bottom rim of this jar. And last thing I do, just to be safe, we just get a little bit of vinegar and we just wipe down the tops of the jar just to make sure there aren't any gunk. Not necessarily, I think, needed for canned beans, but if you were doing something like meat, something that's a bit more messy than this, I definitely say this is a step you do not want to skip. What you do is you just tighten everything down to just fingertip tight. No need to go like crazy Superman tight here. There we go, 19 pint jars ready to go into the canner, and I'll see you over there. Hey, future Felicia here. Yes, I got a haircut in between, filming this. I have a fun announcement coming. It is going to be next week. Something is launching, and I'm really excited about it. So you are going to want to stay tuned, and I just want to let you know it's going to be great. So here we are, just putting the jars in. Again, these are pint jars, and I do have that metal rim on the bottom with the water, and we just kind of fill it up here, just kind of make it all fit. And then to do the next one, we just put the second rim down and stack on top. Now I actually ended up getting only 18 jars in here. I forgot that with the wide mouth ones, I couldn't quite fit this one in. So this was a loaner here that did not get canned, but that's okay. And then here I love it how they have the arrow, and then with this groove here on the canner, you're just gonna screw the lid on to where those match up, so that way you know that it's all facing the right direction and whatnot. And then we're just gonna have it where once it's down, we're then just going to screw these down. I like to do just opposite sides first, and we just screw them where they're tight, finger tight. Basically, no need to go super crazy. My husband is not involved. And then we turn on the stovetop to high, because we're going to be getting this to where this vent starts steaming out. You're going to hear it kind of steaming out. You're going to actually start seeing steam come out. And whenever you start seeing the steam come out, you're then just going to set your timer for 10 minutes. Then after 10 minutes, it is time to put our weight on. I am here at my elevation. It is only 10 pounds of pressure. Read your manual to determine which weight side you need for your elevation. But now we put the weight on, and then we watch the pressure gauge here to see whenever it gets up to about 10 pounds of pressure, it's matching your weight. Or just whenever you start hearing that weight kind of wiggle and jiggle a little bit. This usually takes around 5 to 10 minutes for me. And here we are where it's up to pressure. The weight is starting to jiggle and make a little bit of sound. And for me here, when you first start, you're going to need to learn where your heat level needs to be to regulate it, because you want to keep it at this level. For me, medium high heat on my stove keeps it at the proper level. But whenever you first start, hang around your canner and be monitoring this to determine what you need. And then eventually you'll learn your stove. And then from here, we need to pressure can. Now we start our timer where we pressure can for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And for the most part, I can walk away. I'm not leaving the house, but I can walk away and just occasionally monitor this. And then one thing I want to point out here with the All-American canner that I love is the safety levels they have. So you can see they have this metal hook, and also how these screw down. So not only is it screwing in very well with the lid, but all of these safety fixtures make it really safe to use. And here we are. It is now 1 hour and 15 minutes later, and we are turning this off. We are not opening this yet. And we wait for the pressure to come down. And here it is at 0. We now remove the weight. And here is where I goofed. This was the very first time that I used this canner. And per the manual, it does state to use some oil on the inside of the lid and everything. And I forgot to do that. So here I am, all excited, unscrewing everything, ready to lift my lid, and it's not budging. It is not coming up. So what I ended up doing was I basically waited until the next day. And then I took a towel and a hammer and lightly hammered the lid where it screwed off, where I could get it off. I didn't damage the can or anything. So don't do what I did. Read your manual first and follow the instructions. But here it is the next day. These jars are not hot anymore because they're the next day. Usually I would be getting them out immediately with this jar holder here, but you'll eventually see where I got lazy and switched to my hands because, again, they're not hot. When they are coming out, they will be boiling. You will be seeing it boiling. And so you just want to pull them out, put them on a surface. These are basically 2 towels here. I don't like putting them on a cooling rack. I prefer towels. And then when the jars cool off, eventually you're going to start hearing the pop, pop, pop with the lids to let you know that they have sealed. And then once they're cooled off, like here again, the next day, I like to wipe them down because it's normal to have residue like water and stuff like that. The jars sometimes leak a little bit. That's normal while it's canning. And so I'm just wiping these down, making sure they're clean, no wonky things or anything for them to go into storage. And now it's time to label. Always important to label. I love these labels. One of y'all actually sent them to me. They are dissolvable. So you can write on them. They go on your jars just fine. But then when you've used the jar and you're ready to replace them, they just wash off with hot water, and it's amazing. So I always label what it is and the date that they were canned, and just find a smooth surface on your jar to put them. So simple labels, easy peasy, and we're ready to go for storage. And here they are, beautiful, ready to go. So I now have my own canned beans that I can use whenever I need them. And I need to do this with kidney beans as well. But one thing I just want to mention is just remember All American Canners to get at Pleasant Hill Grain for all the different varieties, grainsandgrit.com/PHG. And stay tuned for next week's huge announcement I am super excited about. But in the meantime, y'all have a wonderful day and go can you some beans. Bye.